A very good morning, everybody. Uh, Today I am going to talk ethics in research. But at the outset, I would like to share something which is important for the present situation. First is hope all my students are following the lockdown very meticulously and maintaining the social distance. Now, beside this, I'm very extremely happy that the students are getting very much benefited through my videos, and hope they will enjoy the learning process through audiovisual medium. Thirdly, uh, yesterday our principal sir informed me that our college already launched one website where we can able to upload our class notes, and our students also able to see the class notes according to their needs. So we are in the transitions, and we are in the fighting modes. So all the best. So let's come to the main topic, that is the ethics in research. And ethics in research, uh, actually, one of my students asked yesterday that, sir, do you able to give some ideas about the ethics in research? Now, this is very long and lengthy exercise process. So, when anybody thinking about the ethics and put the ethics, the word in the Google search, so and the synonyms, very fast synonyms that will come, that is the morals. So, the morals and morals is guided by some laws, norms. So, norms to conduct some activities. So, in our socialization process, we are always learning what kind of behavior we are doing. We have to do in the different areas, like in schools, in home, in the office, and so on and so forth. Now, these morals is very important aspect for the research also. So this ethics in research is very much confined to the anthropological point of view, as because we are dealing with the human beings. Our central understanding is the humans. So this ethics in research is the 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 topic is related to the semester 4 general students, and also the semester 4 honors students, that is 10T, the theoretical paper, and unit 3. And unit 3, if you'll see the unit 3, you can get that two important subtopics, that is identify, define, and analyze ethical issues in the context of human subjects research. And second is the importance of consent, privacy, and confidentiality in research. Now, whenever we are going through the website of NIH, National Institute of Health, Washington, D.C., and USA, we'll get the 16 important principles there follows to doing the research. Now, research is different thing, different type of research, So some of the research is very much confined to the social science. Some of the research is very much confined to the earth science, and some of this life science, and most importantly, the medical science. So the ethics in research, here I am talking basically the two aspects. First is the bioethics, that is related to the medical science and health science, and very much related to the biological and biocultural anthropological aspects. And that research, I'm trying to give some examples rather than explain very rigorously the different points. So NIH, they explain the principles, that is the 16 principles, like honesty, objectivity, integrity, carefulness, openness, intellectual property, confidentiality, responsible publications is also important for research. The responsible mentoring, respect for colleagues, social responsibility, non-discriminations for the colleagues, competence, legality, and when you are using some animals for your research, so animal care also important, and human subject protections. Now, as a student of anthropology and student specifically for biocultural and biological anthropology, my understanding is basically to the bioethics. Now, in India, you know that we have the Indian Council of Medical Research, and they formulated one very big understanding of one document which have been already been uploaded in their website, that is ethics in biological research. Now, now university grant commissions, they also suggested and they also forced to open IEC, that is Institutional Ethical Committee, before doing any sort of research. So what we are doing, what we are trying to main emphasize out of 16 principles, that is already I mentioned that the consent, privacy and confidentiality. Now I am trying to give two examples regarding this the privacy and confidentialities. So when I did my PhD field work inside the Chandaka Dompora Elephant Sanctuary, that is one of the important biosphere, not biosphere reserve, that is sanctuary, the reserve forest areas, where there were 5 villages inhabited exclusively by the indigenous populations, like the Sabo tribal populations. Now, when I tried to get permission from the DFO, that is Divisional Forest Officers of Chandrika Dompara Elephant Sanctuary, recently this forest is known as Asian Elephant Research Center. So he claimed that he was not able to give me the permission because there is some provisions to stop the outsider to go inside the forest areas as per Wildlife Protection Act 1972 India. But the last chapters of this Wildlife Protection Act 1972, there is a provisions that for the research purpose and special provisions, they can give the permission to stay inside the forest areas. So I replied to the DFO, and DFO ultimately convinced to me regarding my understandings and gave me the permissions. So I did my field work inside the forest area. I stayed there the different occasions. But one day, what happened? One forest officers came to me. Basically, the time I were collecting the consent from the villagers due to take the blood glucose and blood pressures measures, the parameters. So suddenly he told me that can you put some thumb impressions to my paper also? So I just confused that what he tried to claim for me to put the thumb impressions for the villagers. So I suddenly I thought that something wrong is going on. So I asked him that can you give this document to me for the one day, then I will go through it, and tomorrow you will come and we will take. Then the horrible thing is that in the document of the forest department, They have written that all these lands in this, the forest areas of the villagers, they are, they are willing to keep the forest departments without um, any sort of restrictions. So this kind of things very much unethical uh, for the forester point of view, from the department point of view. Then I refused. I refused to cooperate to the villagers, the forest officers. And at the end of my field work, then DFO asked me one day that, Dr. Chakraborty, uh, whether you have seen that there are poaching of the deers inside the forest areas. So then I replied that, sir, you are the DFO of this forest, you are the guardians of this forest. So it is better that, I think, in my opinion, you are in better positions to know whether there is approaching is going on, and whether the forest villagers are involving for that. So these kind of things are always going on when I'm doing in the field. So the morality, in my opinion, you should build yourselves. So ethics in research like this. So there are some principles based on some understandings. First is the honesty, as NIS said that honesty. Honesty is main important things in research. Whenever you are doing your work. Now the next case studies, next examples I would like to share with you that when I did my last project among the Rabha tribal communities in northern part of the West Bengal in India, then one day I saw that the women, they repeatedly visited inside the forest area. They cut the forest trees um, for their earning, and they are always they are often try to sell this in the nearby market. Then I asked to take one photograph for these activities. Then the girls are very scared. They were very scary that whether I am showing this photograph to the DFO and other officials and to publish for that for any journal newspaper. Then I discussed my objectives to the villagers and specifically those girls, and I promised them that whenever I will show these slides for my presentations, for any sort of activities, I always try to hide your face. Anybody in the audience, they are not able to see your face, so your identity will not be disclosed till my death. So this promise I made to the villagers, the girls. Then they are very much convinced. They were very much convinced, and they gave me the permission to take the photograph. I have this photograph. I have the original photograph also, but still now, I oftenly presented my presentations to different parts of the India and also the abroad. So I try to show these slides by hiding the face. So these things are always coming from my bottom, by my heart. So as a true researchers, the ethics is very important. So, obviously, there are some ethical guidelines, ethical considerations. The main thing is that to minimize the harmness to the people and maximize or optimize the benefit of the villagers or peoples to whom you are working for that. So this is the ethics in research. So hope you are understanding. You can understand these aspects, and you can develop these understandings more meticulously when you are actively involving yourselves into the active research. So for this class, thank you. Enjoy yourself. Thanks.